Deku's insane new form is making him lose his mind, but could Deku's madness be the only way to actually defeat Shigaraki? Is this how the battle finally ends, or is this the stupidest mistake that the heroes have ever made? Stick around until the end because that twist was wild. They might have just given Shigaraki one for all on a freaking platter, and we need to talk about it. You guys know how this works, leave a quick like and comment to support the video in that YouTube algorithm. And a huge thank you to every single one of you for over 2 million subscribers. That is crazy and it means so much to us. Okay, so because of the unexpectedly long break, the latest chapter started off with a quick recap of the latest major events in the story. Basically, Deku and the Vestiges of One For All concluded that it is impossible to beat Shigaraki just through physical means. In terms of raw power, he is just too strong, and if Deku keeps fighting him one-on-one in the outside world, he will surely lose. But thanks to some help from the Vestige of Star and Stripe, Deku and the Vestiges realized that Tenko Shimura must still be hiding deep within Shigaraki's Vestige world, or deep within his consciousness. And launching an attack on Shigaraki from the inside at the same time that he is fighting the heroes on the outside could be the only way to actually defeat him. And so the Vestige of the second user, Kudo, came up with an incredibly risky plan. He will enter Shigaraki's Vestige world by transferring his quirk factor into Shigaraki. This means that, theoretically, the recoil from overusing Gear Shift will be felt by Shigaraki instead of Deku, and it also means that the second user will be able to start attacking Shigaraki from the inside. Deku was very skeptical about this plan at first because he doesn't want to give up any part of One For All to Shigaraki. But eventually, even he was beginning to realize that attacking Shigaraki mentally from the inside is probably the only way to take the villain down. At the end of the last chapter, Deku seemingly unlocked a brand new form. A form that allows him to infuse his entire body with Black Whip and reinforce his bones, muscles, and tendons in a way that allows him to move even when his body is physically exhausted. Basically, even if his body is now too weak to do anything, Deku can still use Black Whip to force his body to keep standing and keep fighting. The second user says that because Deku admires every quirk within One For All so greatly, he is able to unleash each quirk's full potential, including in this case the full potential of Black Whip. By the way, what should we call this new Deku form in which his body fuses with Black Whip? Black Deku? Whipped Deku? Give me your name ideas down in the comments and don't forget to leave a like and sub to support your boy. Deku realizes that he is going to have to stop relying on Gear Shift. He has to somehow match Shigaraki's speed and get close enough for him to force the second user's quirk factor into him, but he has to do it without the speed boost that Gear Shift provides. He also needs to find a way to get some of his DNA into Shigaraki so that the second user's quirk factor can be successfully transferred. Normally, One For All cannot be transferred if the user doesn't want it to be, but if the user does want it to be transferred, it can even be given to an unwilling participant. So the plan to force the second user's quirk factor into Shigaraki should work as long as they can get Shigaraki to take in some of Deku's DNA. It is important to note that this is not going to be a case of Shigaraki himself using All For One to steal Gear Shift from Deku like he did with Danger Sense. This is different because this is a case of Deku willingly forcing the Gear Shift quirk factor into Shigaraki without Shigaraki's consent. That might actually make a big difference in terms of whether Shigaraki is going to be able to just use the quirk like he's using Danger Sense, or whether it's going to be more difficult for him. Deku decides that the best way to get his DNA into Shigaraki is by mixing some of his blood into Shigaraki's wounds, but the big problem with that is that Shigaraki keeps using super regeneration so quickly that it's hard to even get to his wounds before they disappear. Deku believes that he must make his move right after he lands a strike on Shigaraki, and he has to act now, because he feels like he is about to pass out due to the recoil from Gear Shift, like he does not have much time left. Now, Shigaraki has already figured out that Deku is up to something. He's clearly planning something, and the villain knows that he has to be careful. Deku is not acting like a guy who is exhausted and barely breathing. He is still trying to attack Shigaraki despite his terrible physical condition, and that's not something that anyone in their right mind would do. But Shigaraki knows as well as we do that our boy Deku is not in his right mind when it comes to thinking about his own safety, so that's not really news to anyone. That said, Shigaraki isn't too worried about what Deku's actually planning because he intends to just keep destroying everything no matter what Deku ends up doing. Either way, in the end, he will destroy Deku, he will destroy Japan, and he will destroy everything else that he can get his hands on. I guess Shigaraki really isn't the best person to be judging who is and isn't in their right mind. As Deku and Shigaraki rush towards each other, Deku suddenly uses Smokescreen, which actually surprises En because he believes that his quirk is the least useful. Shigaraki decides that it doesn't really matter whether there's smoke on the battlefield or not, and it doesn't really matter what Deku plans to do next because he will simply touch the ground, activate Decay, and annihilate everything. However, when he tries to decay the ground, Shigaraki realizes that he is actually touching a giant chunk of earth that Deku had already separated from the rest of the ground using Black Chain, or I guess Black Chains. Earlier in the fight, Deku had sent Black Chains underground to rip this giant chunk of the earth so that he could later use it as a way to protect the rest of the ground from Shigaraki's spreading decay. And this basically works on the same principle as the UA's anti-decay security system. Deku then uses his cape as a decoy to trick Shigaraki, similarly to the way he used it against Lady Nagant. But this time, Deku also includes a Black Whip tendril along with the cape, and this particular tendril also has some of Deku's blood on it. Which is why both Danger Sense and Search thought that Shigaraki really was about to be attacked from within the thick smoke. So while Shigaraki is still trying to figure out what's happening, Deku successfully sneaks up on him. Shigaraki realizes that he shouldn't let Deku hit him, so he tries to activate that finger armor that he had used before in the fight against the heroes atop the floating UA. But Deku puts everything into that one punch, and it ultimately connects with Shigaraki's chest. It does just enough damage to spill some of Shigaraki's blood, and Deku manages to mix his own blood with the villain's, allowing the second user to infiltrate Shigaraki's vestige world. And then, as Kudo enters Shigaraki's body and mind, something strange and unexpected begins to happen. For some reason, Deku and Shigaraki's memories begin blending together. So for example, Shigaraki's memories about the first time he met the members of the League of Villains begin to blend with Deku's memories about the sports festival. Deku is confused about what's happening, but the sixth user En yells at Deku that it's working. The second user was able to mess with Shigaraki's mind. Something is happening, something important, but it's still not enough. Deku has to keep going. He has to keep fighting Shigaraki on the outside, and he needs to send even more vestiges inside of Shigaraki so that they can help Kudo finish the job on the inside. Deku has to transfer more parts of One for All into the villain. And this is the big crazy twist that could have groundbreaking consequences for the rest of the story. This right here is the critical inflection point where the ending of the series will be determined. Putting more of One for All into Shigaraki is a major, massive risk. And even though it seems to apparently be working right now, it is such a huge freaking gamble. One wrong move and Shigaraki steals One for All and becomes undefeatable. It's literally game over if that happens. And even though En is saying that the strategy is working, I personally am very concerned about the fact that Deku's mind is also being affected by all of this. His memories are somehow blending with Shigaraki's, which could mean that Deku is also being affected mentally by everything that's going on. If this continues, could Deku's mind also become warped in some way? Like, could Deku's personality start changing as his memories blend with Shigaraki's, and could that have an impact on his actions from here on out? What just happened at the end of the chapter could be far more important than most people even realize, and it could change the Deku we know forever. On the other hand, it might also change Shigaraki forever and really bring Tenko back. But do we even want that to happen if it comes at the cost of corrupting Deku's personality in some way? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you're looking for another epic MHA video to watch next, check out this video that ranks the top 13 strongest quirk gods in the series, link on screen and down in the description. If you enjoyed this MHA video and you want to see more in the future, do me a huge favor and leave a like right now. And thank you again for over 2 million subscribers on this channel. It still feels freaking unreal.